Good evening, fight fans. I'm Jay's Fight Talk, and this is God knows what episode, but it's Straight Talk back at its normal time between 7 and 8 p.m. on a Thursday. My co host, as always, is my good friend, Statman, and host of Liam's Fight Night Picks, co host of Straight Talk and No Punches Pulled. And you can catch him over on LT's Sweet Boxing Science. Statman, Liam Tully, how are we, brother?
I'm all good, brother. I'm all good. And yeah, look, good to get back in the regular slot. Feels like we're getting a bit of a routine back, which is nice, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's fantastic. I will just start the video by saying, just bear with me a second. I'm just sorting out my virtual background because I don't want it on. It keeps blurring out my screen. We lost a Fight Sports great this afternoon. Hulk Hogan, rest in peace. I was a Hulkamaniac in my younger days. I used to stay up till God knows what time of day to watch wrestling. Led up to me, learning about real fight sports. But I just thought I'd put it out there. He's sort of an icon and a pioneer of wrestling. We also lost Ozzy Osbourne, a great in rock music. So it's been a bit of a tumultuous week in terms of losses. But look, on that low note, let's talk about some fight sports. It's lean pickings, but we've got a few bits and bats to discuss. I will start by saying, has anyone seen Ben Shalom? If you could let us know in the comments. We are looking for him. Apparently he's gone missing.
Can't find him.
Hand History Vault, welcome to the show. Apparently he thinks I've got splinters in my ass because I picked Bellotti and Garner a draw, but I've picked that fight as a draw since it was made. If you knew me, the Hand History Vault, you'd know one thing I'm not bothered about is putting people's noses out of joint, and I will pick it as I see fit and as I see it. I have actually stacked a heap of money on that fight being a draw, brother. So I'm not just saying it, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm happy to admit when I'm right. I'm happy to admit when I'm wrong. More times than not, I'm wrong. I'm on a bit of a run, to be fair. I think I called every single fight last week.
You're hot, mate. You're hot.
Well, you see the... Let's just bear with me. I'm trying to get this comment. What's that say? Will you see this guy clearly has a ring? I don't understand what you mean by that, brother. I just picked a draw just based on Reece Bellotti having momentum, coming off 6. I think he's on a 6-fight win streak. Garner's had a couple of good wins, but if they both have their good night, they'll cancel each other out. It's got a couple of rounds in it, but unless Bellotti, who I think the power, I think I'm safe to say that the power lies with the bomber. But Garner sort of, he gets people out of there by an accumulative damage. But I think if anybody's going to stop anyone sort of early or get a knockout, I would lean towards Bellotti. I know you are Andy Strivalt, and I'm playing back, brother. It's all fun and games, man. I respect your opinion just as much as I respect the next man's. But I'm happy to make my picks. We do that every week, and Liam will vouch for me. I've said draw from day one with this fight because I just think they're going to cancel each other out. It might not be the prettiest fight to watch, and I think if anybody edges it, it will be a case of 115, 113 or something like that. The draw, I think the highest I got on it, so I've done a few. I think I got 14-1. It's probably the highest that I got. That shows you how closely matched these two guys are. But I do lean towards Bellotti. Similar to yourself, I think he edges on power. He edges on experience. He has been in the tougher fights. I know that the Piranha has beat Dillon and Sharp. I thought Sharp was lauded a little bit more than I don't think he'd done enough to justify people ranking him so highly. I don't mean like literally, but people had him up on a pedestal.
Yeah, the rankings and opinions.
Garner dealt with him not easily, but comfortably. I think Bellotti will win if he does win, based on him being the more experienced fighter on the big nights, in the bigger fights, and he can gut it out. He's been gut checked how many times, and also been brought in as an opponent in 4 of his last 6.
Look, I've picked this fight for Bellotti, but I've caveated it with I think it's going to be a knockdown that wins it for him. I literally think it's that close that, as we said, the power lies with Belotti. I think he's going to get a knockdown in the middle rounds, and it's going to be that sways it to the judges. It's a seriously good fight. Garner's on a rise and on a, with what he's done recently. He's done Liam Dillon into Archie Sharp, into beating Salvador Jimenez for the European. That's a good run, but Belotti, for God's sake, he started this run as a Southern Area title opponent, low down on a matchroom card. Beat Akib Fiaz, didn't he, for the Commonwealth, forced him to retire. Done the same to Liam Dillon, and then he's defended his British in Commonwealth relatively comfortably, hasn't he, against Levi Giles and Gomez Jr. So, look, it's an intriguing fight. It's got all the hallmarks of being one of those domestic fights that you'll just grip to for as long as it lasts. But look, if Garner wins, I wouldn't be surprised, because every time Garner gets in the ring lately, we're seeing more and more improvements from him. But I've gone similar to you. You said from the start, and people hear this outlandish predictions you give when we do lives. Me and Sam will hear them as soon as fights are made. One thing you're good at, mate, is you very seldom change your mind. Your initial opinion, you went back to the hills. And
absolutely.
You said draw for this. I said I edged Belotti in a tight fight. So, mate, it's one of those. I don't think we're going to be disappointed regardless of the outcome on Saturday. Win Garner, win Belotti, a draw. I think we're going to be thoroughly entertained.
Absolutely, and it might not be one for the sort of casuals who are expecting knockouts, but in terms of fundamentals and technique, I think as boxing purists, we're going to be spoiled. I think it's going to. I don't think it'll be a boring fight. I think there will be, because obviously Belotti's power carries right through. He's had late stoppages, early stoppages, and Garner, as I said, causes accumulative damage. I don't think he possesses concussive knockout power. Incoming first round knockout for Garner, but no, I'm really looking forward to it. Just going to this question here, I think it's Carl Fail against is it Ali Abu Baker? I think he's 9-0. Fail is 11 or 10-0.
Yeah.
The issue for me is, as at the weekend, but we were proven wrong with Bam. But Abu Baker's got his next fight penciled in. He's got a TBA penciled in for after this. I'm not saying he is looking past Fail, but how can you not be ever so slightly, if you have another fight? Because your other fights based off your winning, ordinarily, you don't really have another fight booked in thinking, oh, well, if I lose, it's all right, I'm back out again in 4 weeks. I actually think Fail will win this fight. I know Abu Baker is the Midlands area champion, I want to say, something like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just like what I see from Fail. I barely puts a foot wrong, hits pretty hard. He's got decent punch variation. His feet are pretty fast. Whereas Abu Baker, I think sloppy's not the word, right? Because I'm not in a position to be able to criticise him like that. But I've seen things from him that look very amateurish, can I say? Don't bring his hands back quick enough. Yeah. Likes to have him down by his waist. I don't think he's fast enough to box like that. It's another good fight. It's a very, very good trick. Amir, sorry, I do apologise. So, yeah. It was Ali. My take on it is that I think Fail will win on points. What's your take on it, Liam?
So I've done a little bit looking into this fight today, because I've done a preview which will go live tomorrow. And Fail started on a really hot run, but we've not seen him since 2023. He's had injury and personal issues from doing a bit of digging into why we've not seen him today. So my question is Michael Fail going to be the same fighter he was back in 2023? Carl Fail, when he was scheduled to be fighting for the area title at the time against the different fighters from Abu Baker. If he is, I think he will put on something of a impressive performance and probably win this 7-3, 8-2 kind of things. But if not, look, we say it all the time, activity and how often you've been active can play a big difference in this game. If it comes down to that, if it comes down to the last couple of rounds, you'd have to favour Abu Baker. But don't look, people tuning in on Saturday, don't sleep
on activity and stuff.
Yeah, look, on activity. Look, an area title fight, we speak about them all the time. This is going to be quite high up the TV card. It's an opportunity to realise just how good area title fights can be. I'm going to lean towards Fail, similar to you, because of what he's done. But as Hand History Vote said there, power, activity all goes with Abu Baker. But Michael Fail looks like, I've done it again, Carl Fail looks like the more polished boxer.
Yeah, but Hand History Votes is what I said. His feet look a bit slow and he's a bit cumbersome is probably the word. I think he admires his work a little bit too much and stays around to what like he'll throw a 2 or 3 punch combination, catch the last one, and then he's still there.
Oh, that looked good. That was nice, rather than getting
there
back
you go.
in.
So he's sort of admiring his work. I don't know whether he is or whether it's a reaction. It's how he is. But there are tells. You've seen it with fighters before. I'll give you an example of a classic tell, and this is another sport. I'm going to use tennis, the tennis analogy, right? Andre Agassi was beating Boris Becker, and I think was it Boris Becker? And I think he said that every time he served, he'd do that. So he'd know. So whatever side he's serving to, so say he's serving to the left, he'd have his tongue to the left, and nobody got on it. And Agassi got on that little tell. I think Abu Bakr, if it goes past 5 or 6 rounds, I think Fail will pick up on tells like standing around and admiring work, and then he'll start feinting and countering. And I think if he stops him, it'll be something like a counter combination off the back of Abu Bakr throwing power shots. So he's put everything into it. He's leaning on his front foot, and then bam, he gets caught. But it all depends if Fail has got, because he's going from a standing start. He's been out for nearly 2 years. Yeah. Abu Bakr's been out. I think he was out recently. He's definitely been out twice this year, I think.
About April time, I think.
So he's got momentum, the power. So yeah, it's an intriguing fight, Andrew Istrivolt, and one that I am looking forward to. Right. What do you make of this? Now, this came out of nowhere for me. Is it the Universal Boxing Organization? So there's been a bill put through the Parliament or Senate, so basically they've passed a bill that they're going to have one collective organization that is going to run in tandem or parallel with the 4 major sanctioning. Basically, they're going to bring in one sanctioning body to run in tandem with the other 4 sanctioning bodies, and we're led to believe that this one will do it right, and the other 4 have got to answer to this one. I don't know how that's going to work because they're all private companies in reality. It's like a UFC style umbrella. I think it is just flannel and broken biscuits. But what's your take on the Universal Boxing Organization?
It won't work. It won't work for the reasons you've just said. You've got 4 governing bodies that can't even agree on what day of the week it is, never mind on getting their fighters to fight. For God's sake, you can't have someone that holds any form of trinket with the WBC being ranked in any other governing body. Stuff like that. You can't get them to agree on that. So if you're suddenly going to bring in this uniformed umbrella, it's not going to work, mate. You touched on the UFC, and the reason that works is because it is literally one umbrella. It's Dana White and the company, and they oversee everything. And that works because they answer to themselves, if that makes sense. So if
absolutely,
something goes wrong,
one company.
We know Dana is a ball buster, and if something goes wrong, he will find the root cause of the problem and he will deal with it. That's easy to do when it's one company. Something goes wrong with the IBF, and this Universal Boxing thing is going to oversee it. Not a chance. There's too much politics, bullshit, bluster, history for it to work. It's a fantastic concept, but you know what it sounds like? Someone that's watched a lot of USC and not watched a lot of boxing and thinks they can apply the same model to boxing and it's going to fix all the problems.
I agree. The model doesn't work, not with 4 sanctioning bodies. Just going back to this, Andy Istrivolt, I wouldn't have a clue. I'm not backing this fight, and I wouldn't want to give betting advice. I'm not your guy for that. I gamble myself, but literally just for myself. Please don't follow my picks. You will end up out on the street, homeless and potless. So I'm not betting on that fight, brother, in all honesty. No, I think it sounds great, and it's something Dana can use as a selling point. It could work for maybe the fighter league that they're looking at having, and they could all be under I think it's a UBO. But in terms of the WBC, WBO, IBF, WBA, and maybe the IBA, and then the IBO, where do you stop? Where do you draw? Where do you draw the
line? Where's the line?
Because they're all international sanctioning bodies, right? We see IBO world title fights. We see IBA title fights now. So who are the UBO to say, well, actually, no, you're not as important as these 4. It's only the main 4. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you are a boxing or a fight sport sanctioning body or boxing sanctioning body, and they're meant to oversee you all, then you can't just have 4. It's got to be every international boxing sanctioning body Pan-African, Pan-American. They're all going to have to be in, but it just don't work. It's too messy. It's right.
It's a pipe dream of an idea, mate. That's what it is.
Yeah,
it's
of
a
course
pipe
it is.
dream.
It sounds good. It sounds good. Oh, we're going to clean up the sport. We're going to bring it all under one banner and all under umbrella. Oh, okay then. So basically, the WBC, for example, I'll use them as an example. They're going to hand over the keys to their house, and the UBO are going to say it's your house, but it's my rules. What? But it's my house. I own it. Yeah, I know you do, but I'm in charge. So I'll have your keys, and you've got to be in by 10 p.m. and out by 7. And you can't paint your walls this colour. You've got. It's not going to work, is it?
Yeah.
Because the sanctioning bodies are their own. They are their own entity within themselves. They're not going to want to hand over the keys to their castle to somebody else to then take their percentage and tell them what they can and can't do. It's but they've passed the bill, so it's an arbitrary bill. But let's see. Speaking of sanctioning bodies, our good friends at the WBO have mandated Alexander Usyk against Joseph Parker. Will that fight happen?
No.
Why have they mandated it? It's an absolute waste of time. I think Usyk will just go here, take him. Don't need him. Does he need belts for fights now, Usyk? Doesn't matter who has the belts, they're not the champ. Until he gets beat, he's the man. It's that simple.
There's one belt. Sorry, mate. There's one belt he'll hold on to for whatever you carry. He'll hold on to the Ring magazine. That's what he'll hold on to because that's seen as the lineal. He'll hold on to that.
Yeah.
The alphabet belts don't matter. Look, the WBO and the WBC both put out statements quietly last week saying that after the undisputed fight on Saturday, we will be ordering for our interim champions to get their shots. I saw those statements and went, no, you won't. You're just saying it. Look, at least the WBO have done it. We know we're not going to see the fight realistically. We know Parker's going to fight for a vacant title or be upgraded. But at least they're doing something, mate. Look, Parker's been interim champion for over a year now. He won that belt on the Joshua Ngannou card. What was that? Last February, last March? Something like that.
Over a year ago.
Well over a year. And it's the time. Look, Usyk doesn't need the belts, like you said. If he says, right, I'm going to fight Joseph Parker, fantastic. I would love to see that fight. Flipping brilliant. Bring it on. Realistically, because they've decided to go for 30 days rather than 90 days as well. Funny that, isn't it? They've gone for the shortest negotiation period. Usyk will either be stripped or hand the belt back. Parker gets upgraded. And then I said earlier, didn't I, talking to you and Sam, Moses Atalma is number one. If Atalma comes through white, I can see that fight being made. But interestingly, Daniel Dubois has been put in at number 5 with the WBO this week after losing his IBF belt. What's the odds that somehow we end up in a weird position because Turkey might be involved that we get Parker and Dubois for that belt? It shouldn't happen, but you can see that politics, mate.
It shouldn't. And going back to the debacle that is sanctioning bodies, right? We all rate Moses Atalma. We're all high on Moses Atalma, right? Moses Atalma's done nothing to justify being ranked in the top 10, let alone the number 1 spot. I'm not dissing him, and I'm not saying he isn't going to do great things. His biggest wins are Dempsey McKean and Marius Vac. Marius Vac is nearly my age, a similar shape to me, and I can't see my feet if I look straight down. And Dempsey McKean is an average heavyweight. His record looks decent, but he's not world level, right? Atalma is in a proper fight next, depending on what Dillian White turns up. If Dillian White turns up, I'm telling you now, Moses Atalma's in for the fight of his life. Yeah. That's when we'll see if he deserves a world ranking. But we know that Frank's in well with the WBO. They are Frank's organisation. They have been since the 90s. I'm old enough to remember them coming into boxing and the belt not being taken seriously. And then Eubank Senior won it and Kazaki won it and
changed the narrative
and so on and so forth. I agree. I think we'll possibly see Dubois and Parker or AJ and Parker fight for a vacant belt within the next 6 months. I think it stinks. Here we go, heavyweight fight for us. Is this guy going to get involved? Alan announced he's signed a fight for October. Might be on Riyadh season for the British heavyweight title. Should be announced next week. It's likely Joyce. Well, it won't be for the British because the British has been mandated for TKB and Clark. So it won't. I'd be very surprised if it's for the British, unless and Alan fought Clark.
Yeah, he lost to Clark on the second Eubank and Smith card. I think, mate, look, we know Matchroom are doing a Sheffield card hand history vault, and that's to be headlined by Dave Allen. I think it's going to be Dave Allen headlining for the Commonwealth. I think that's where we're going with it. The Commonwealth is vacant, hasn't been ordered by anyone. I think we're going to get Dave Allen for the Commonwealth belt against insert fighter's name, but he's Matchroom's pinpointed headliner for their Sheffield card. So I hope it stays on British shores.
Can I be 100% honest as well? They'll have to fill that card because, as popular as he is, Dave Allen does not put bums on seats. He's not a massive ticket seller. He's not a massive ticket seller, and that's no disrespect to David. I like his shtick. I think he's underachieved and could have been a lot better than, or his career could have been better than what it was. But look, the guy's made a lot of money recently. He's had decent paydays. He's a fantastic character. He's just ill-disciplined. I think that's all. He's just ill-disciplined, and he will be the guy that sits in the pub at the end of the bar in 10, 15 years' time talking about what he could have done. Because I think Dave Allen's got the skill set to challenge for a world title, but he just hasn't got the... He's ill-disciplined. He just can't be arsed, can he? He's that kind of guy. He just can't be arsed.
I think the best example of that from Dave Allen is he openly admitted after the Fraser Clark fight, he said, I woke up in the morning of the fight and didn't want to fight that day. He said, I had a brilliant training camp. It was his first proper one with Jamie Morder and Nigel. He said, I had a fantastic training camp, felt good all camp, felt good on the scales. I woke up fight morning and I didn't want to be there. And that's the thing with Dave Allen. He subsequently fought Johnny Fisher twice, wanted to be in there twice. First time got on the wrong end of some interesting scorecards. The second time poleaxed, didn't he, Johnny Fisher in the 5th round? That second lockdown absolutely poleaxed him. So
flatlined him.
You never know. And I remember watching that fight that night, watching Dave walk to the ring. And I think I messaged you and went, don't think Dave wants to be here, because he didn't look right, did he, on his ring walk? He was sort of looking around, didn't have a bead of sweat on him. It's just never known with Dave Allen. I think his ceiling is probably at this point European title. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with being a European champion.
No.
But what we need to do now, talking about him fighting Parker or people like that, just calm it down a bit. Dave Allen is in a fantastic position to maximize where he can get to. Picking up a Commonwealth, a European, a British.
Fight the domestic guys, man. Clean up at domestic level.
He can clean up domestically, happily.
I mean, I know what he's aiming. He wants a multi-million-pound payday. I get that. And the likes of Joseph Parker and those type of fights. But I think he's a tier below them. I think Dave's biggest battle is with his mental. I think he's got mental issues. I'm not saying he has mental health issues. I think he has a lot of mental barriers. And my brother was a professional fighter, and my brother suffered with or had mental battles and mental struggles throughout his amateur and professional career. So I've seen it sort of firsthand. And I suffer with mental health myself. I battle anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. I tick every box. So I understand, and sort of Dave seems the kind of guy that has a love-hate relationship with boxing. Without boxing, he's not got a lot. Yeah, he's got a family and whatnot, but that's his purpose. But I think he's like a footballer that doesn't watch football, and like Gareth Bale, it don't watch football, but he's so good at it. If Dave Allen had the mental fortitude to be able to be disciplined or better disciplined, then I believe we would be talking about Dave Allen in the same guys as we do Dubois, Parkers, the top level guys, because I think he's got the skills to beat those kind of guys. He just can't be asked when it comes to the when it comes to the crunch, so to speak. But like you said, he needs to maximise the momentum he's got at the moment, but he needs to also put the brakes on it a little bit. He's been calling for the Wilder fight, which I think is a winnable fight for him now.
Now.
Wilder's gun shy. What we got here? Would TKV Clark? It is mandated for the British, I believe.
They've ordered it. That's why they've ordered it.
Because TKV was entitled to a rematch for the Adelaide fight, wasn't he? So he sort of gets it, and Clark's highly ranked. So as far as I'm aware, the hand history vault, that fight is touted for the British title. I think it's gone to purse bids, I believe, Liam.
It's gone for purse bids, and whilst they look for Ben Shalom, who obviously promotes both fighters that are meant to be in that main event, but
I
we'll
was
get
gonna
that
say,
social media campaign going, mate.
We will. Where's Ben? Wasserman have signed a TV deal with Sky, I believe. You brought that last night. I think that's fantastic for them.
As I said,
better production.
Yeah, better production. What I would love to see them announce is that Chris Billum-Smith, Adam Azim, those type of fighters are signing a promotional deal with Wasserman. There was no disrespect. Your Charlie
through Shalom
Edwards,
or leaving Boxer.
Going over to Wasserman, because no disrespect, your Charlie Edwards, your Michael Conlons, your Harlem Eubanks aren't enough to, make a Sky deal worth that while. You need to keep a few of the names that have been on Sky the last few years on there. Even TKV or Clark would do.
No, I agree. I know we're taking a piss and I've been hashtagging but I'm actually serious now. Not in the respect of where's Ben Shalom. I don't know the kid, but I mean the silence is deafening. He said he had a massive announcement. There were rumblings of it being TNT. There were rumblings of it being BBC through the iPlayer. Wasserman have taken the Sky deal. So that contradicts Sky not wanting to be in the boxing business anymore. That contradicts what Ben Shalom said and other people had said, because Sky are still in the boxing business. They've just signed up with Germany's biggest boxing promoter. So that tells me they didn't want to be in the boxer business as opposed to boxing. What does that tell you about Ben Shalom? Because everybody was under the impression that they were leaving Sky on their own steam. They didn't want to renegotiate, and Sky were umming and ahhing about boxing. But that obviously isn't the case.
Mate, it's a mess. I mean, I've just pulled up Ben Shalom's social media whilst you've been talking. The last tweet he reshared was on the 30th of June, which was about Eubank Jr. being tied to a long deal with Boxer or partnership. The last thing he actually put out himself was on the 22nd of May, which was when Georgie O'Connor, rest their soul, passed away, sadly, as we all know about. He tweeted nothing or retweeted nothing from Boxer during the Callum Smith-Zuko fight week. He's the promoter, and he done no promotion himself that fight week. That rings alarm bells. You then talk about Boxer's account. I mean, what is their account? It feels like an obituary to what they've done on Sky Sports at this point, doesn't it? I'm sure you've seen the videos. It compilations of best fights, best rounds, best knockouts, best moments. What's
no
going
news,
on?
No announcements,
no
fighters in camp.
Well, wishing happy birthday to select fighters. So Adam Azim and Lauren Price have had happy birthdays. But I know from other stuff.
The Golden Geese.
Yeah, there's other fighters that have been signed to boxing.
Caroline Dubois rotting away in a sweaty gym somewhere, begging for a unification fight. There's 2 unification fights you could have there. There's Terry Harper and is it Ferreira, the other one?
Beatrice Ferreira.
Right, there's 2 unification fights there. I'm telling you now, Sweet Caroline will fight either of them. She wants the Terry Harper fight. She's been calling for that fight. That fight is so easy to make. Put it on a GBM card. Put it on in Doncaster or Sheffield. Anywhere, man. Put it on another promoter's card.
And you've also got Lauren Price ready to go against Michaela Mayer.
One of the best female boxers around. She's rotting somewhere in Wales. I don't mean that disrespectfully, Lauren.
I know you mean.
You're wasting. Your talents are being wasted, sat around waiting for.
They're sitting there sharing their rank. They're sitting there sharing the rankings of where their fighters are sitting in governing bodies, but they're not announcing anything else. It's all we said, haven't we? If we include Sam in the conversation, we said we feel like this is going to get messy.
Absolutely not. We don't include Sam in these conversations. This is straight talk, not no punches pulled. That guy does not exist over here.
There's a fear that this is already starting to get messy or will get messy. And there's a lot of fighters there. Wasn't it the start of this year, Adam Azim was announced signing a new long-term deal. Billum-Smith and Callum Simpson were the same. Just those 3 fighters on their own. It doesn't look good for Boxer. Look, do we want, on a serious note, we troll, we take the piss. We just want to know what's going on. If they're moving to BBC iPlayer, so be it. We know it's not going to be the same production and caliber of fights as we've had on Sky for the last 4 years. But as we say all the time, we will watch boxing outside of the kebab house at 3 a.m. when Team Leeds is windmilling. That's the reality. You just want to see fights. So let's know what's going on with Boxer. You've got Clark and TKV ordered for the British. you're a week away from Izzy Asif and GBM bidding for that and probably putting that on at York Hall later in the year. That's the reality.
We think Hand History Vault. We don't know that with any insider knowledge. We're literally going off what was banded around in the boxing circular. So, I've seen a good trailer for the Prince Nassim Hamed movie. Looks pretty good.
I've seen that as well.
It's got Pierce Brosnan in it that, as an Irishman, does the worst Irish accent I have ever heard. For Jesus, my mother's life, Naz. Hit him in the face, will you, with the old punches. Hit him on the old yoke there, boy. It's awful. And he's a paddy. Looks a good movie. I'm going to go watch that. Breaking news, Crocker v. Donovan is official. Officially official again.
Is it official?
I think it's official, mate.
We think.
Officially official now.
Officially official.
It wasn't official before. It was just official. So, yeah, that fight is official, by the way, people, for the IBF belt. Josh Taylor's retired. I think, have you got anything else? Xander Zayas, we spoke about last night. You spoke about that on your show. I think he's going to get beat. You think he's going to win. Have you got anything else to add in terms of boxing before we jump over and do a quick UFC rundown?
Yeah, mate, let's go to Abu Dhabi, one of the best fight night cards of the last 2 or 3 years.
But do you know what pisses me off about this card being so good? It's fantastic that it's going to be on at 8 p.m, the main card, and as a Brit, I love that. We get to watch it and be in bed for 11 o'clock and whatnot. What pisses me off is the fact that oil money gets the better cards. We've just had a card in Louisiana last week that was for the BMF belt at 155, headlined by Max Blessed Holloway against Dustin the Diamond Poirier. And Poirier's goodbye fight. Right, that card was bare bones, mate. It had about 3 fights on it out of the God knows how many, right? Let me read you this card, right? Davy Grant against Damone Blackshear, right? Davy Grant's never in a boring fight. He could shadow box and I'd watch it, right? That's the curtain jerker. Oh, no, sorry. The curtain jerker is actually Amanda Ribas against Tabitha Ricci. Very good matchup. We've then got Muslim Salakoff against Carlos Leal. Another great fight. We got Madman Bryce Mitchell against Said Nurmagomedov. Another great fight. Then we've got the main card. The main card consists of... Where are we? Come on, Jason. Jose Ochoa against Asu Alamabayev. Alamabayev is an absolute animal. Ochoa is a killer. I think he's 8-1 or something like that. Then we got Shara Bullet coming off his first career defeat to MVP. He's fighting Barriol, Marc-Andre Barriol. Another great fight. Then you've got Peter Yan versus Marcus McGee. And you've got Robert Whittaker against Rainer Derrida. That card has about 5 or 6 headline matchups on it.
That card is better than the majority of the pay-per-view cards we got this year, or am I going too far in terms of how
it's
the matchup?
Probably the best card of the year, so up to press. Yeah.
And like you say, it's because of the oil countries, the oil money gets rewards. We have to not put up with, but we have to, fight to stay up to make it through to Holloway and Poirier last weekend for a substandard card. And now this weekend, we get a card where a couple of these fights would have brought last weekend's pay-per-view card up. I mean, not pay-per-view for us in the UK. We stand in solidarity with our American friends that had to pay the pay-per-view for that. But yeah, look, it's a cracking card, mate. You are going to not want to miss a fight. It's going to deliver. He says hopefully, because the last time we had outstanding fight night cards, we were struggling to get through the night, weren't we?
We were.
So on paper, mate, it looks great. But unfortunately, it shows that even Dana White isn't immune to giving the oil countries what they want in terms of bang for their buck, so to speak.
Yeah, but look, I'm looking forward to it. I think Robert Whittaker will win. I think Derrida's on a great run. He beat Bo Nickel, but Bo Nickel was untested. Very good wrestler. I'm more excited for the co-main, Petty Yan, because I want to see if Marcus McGee is as good as we think he is. Because Marcus McGee is what? I think he's 10-1 or 11-1.
Something like that.
Yeah. Petyan's career has been stop-start since he did that stupid knee against Aljamain Sterling, or what he could have won. But look, he's on a bit of a comeback. He's probably one of the better boxers in the UFC, but Marcus McGee's a problem. He is a problem. But I'm also interested to see what Shara Bullett's got coming off his first career defeat, because he got handled by MVP. He just got outstruck. So I want to see what he returns like, and it's on at UK time. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. It should be a good weekend.
I think Shara Bullet, we're going to find out what the after effects of that MVP fight are. Like you say, a fighter can go back and have the training camp of their lives, but what they like when they get under the lights, I don't think we're going to know with Shara until we're halfway through the first round. PC Yan, we're going to find out if he's actually, if he's got anything left, if he's got any aspirations of getting another shot at a UFC title. That's what we're going to find out on Saturday night. Because he got, like you say, his career's been stop-start since he made that mistake against Yan and got himself disqualified and lost his belt. If he doesn't get the victory on Saturday, then I think there's going to be a question about, okay, PC Yan, thank you for the memories, thank you for what you've done, but your time sort of being at the top's gone. And look, Robert Whittaker is just relentless. He's always there. He's always in good fights. Another headline shot, another chance to, redeem himself after what happened last time out in the octagon. I think we're going to see him take another victory as well. Possibly points for Robert Whittaker, but just because it's a points victory for Robert Whittaker doesn't mean it's not an entertaining fight.
No, I expect it to be an exciting fight. Doridia is really good on the ground, has got some good striking. People underestimate Robert Whittaker's wrestling. I think he wrestled with the Australian Olympic team at one stage. So, No, I'm really looking forward to that. Have you got anything else to add before we call it a night for this week?
Nothing else, mate, no. Nothing else.
Thanks to everybody that's interacted. Hand history vault, I've not even looked. I think Chavez will win that fight, and I also think Vargas will beat Higa.
Agree with both of those.
Yeah, don't listen to me. What I know about boxing, forget it. Don't copy my bets. Thank you to everybody that's interacted with us tonight. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you're not following LT's Sweet Boxing Science, then what the fuck are you doing? Because this guy, what he doesn't know is not worth knowing. He's got loads of fresh content on there. He's going to be doing it daily as well. He's got his Liam's Fight Night Picks, which aired last night. The new Liam's Fight Night Picks that's moved over to Liam's own channel. He's now doing it live with the two Daves last night. It was an absolutely fantastic start. There's a show that I did with Liam earlier on in the week to kick the channel off. So make sure you're following. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Keep punching. We'll see you on the other side. Thanks, Liam.
Thank you very much, everyone. Cheers, mate.